So today we're going to be making a product called Instamold. Instamold is a less expensive option for ear mold impressions that we use for like swimming, bathing whenever we are post-surgery or something like that. They're great for young kids because they are an inexpensive option and we know how quickly kids can grow. So we're going to show you the process today of how we make Instamolds.
So first things first, we're going to have to pick out some colors, and these colors can be different for each ear.
Blue on the right, blue on the left. Okay.
We then use a small cotton or foam block in the ear canal to prevent the material from going too deep. Placement is important because it determines the final look and feel of the product. The Instamold product comes in 2 parts, and when those parts are mixed, they will set up in about 10 minutes or so. So it's important to measure accurately and to mix very thoroughly so that you don't get any streaks throughout the product that are not fully hardened. Once the product is thoroughly mixed, it's then put into a syringe. Different providers use different types of syringe, but I like these little individual sized single ear syringes. The viscosity of this product is a little bit higher than a regular ear mold impression material, so it takes a strong hand to be able to get that material in there appropriately. But I still like this syringe because it allows me to be accurate with the product. You see here we're filling up that ear. Now, one thing that's different than a typical ear mold impression, say for like a hearing aid or an ear mold for a hearing aid, is I don't like to touch that ear mold impression material. Now with this material, because it's a higher viscosity, you're able to mold and shape the material while it's in the patient's ear, which makes for a much better fit and a better seal to keep water out. Here we are, finishing and smoothing that out. You'll see there's no cracks along the borders there, and I'll create just a little handle right up front to make it easier to get that ear mold out when the time comes. And here's just a quick view of us repeating the process on the other side. Alright, here you can see that the ear mold has hardened up sufficiently for us to remove it. We're just going to create an air break, or break that seal around the ear mold so that we can remove it more easily. Comes out just like a little corkscrew, and that is our product with a little wax left over. We'll repeat that process right here on the other side. That one pops right out. And then off to shaping. Then we're going to move off to shaping the devices. Here we just remove the cotton or foam block, and I like to use a Dremel tool with a pumice stone to just smooth out any irregularities in the product. This allows for a much better seal coat and, just an overall better look. So take a few moments here and just enjoy me shaping some ear molds. Alright, so we're finishing up these ear molds, making sure again to smooth out any irregularities or pits or anything like that, making sure that it's going to be comfortable for the patient to wear, but also making sure to leave enough anatomy on here to get a good tight fit, a good seal to protect those ears from water. As you can see, it's a messy process. I like to make sure to thoroughly clean the ear molds to make sure that all the debris from the modification of those ear molds are removed so that I can get a good adherence of that silicone seal coat. I use 2 coats of the silicone dip. I think it just allows for a little bit more protection and a little bit more longevity of the ear molds. Alright, I use a little pin tool to push into the bottom of the ear mold. It does leave a tiny little pinhole, but nothing that is going to be significant in impacting the performance of the device. I dip it in a silicone sealer, letting any excess drain off, and then I'll move that over to just a little floral foam holder that we bought. It comes in really handy. Now this is meant to be instant. It's meant to dry very quickly and then you can give it to the patient to take home. But if the patient or the patient's parent is agreeable, I typically recommend for them to come back and pick it up the next day. That gives me a full 12 hours or so to allow both silicone seal coats to fully cure. That way, if they want to use them immediately, I don't have any reservations about them doing so. Alright, we'll put them in our holder, we'll move them up out of the way so they won't get bumped, and there you have it, 2 Instamold ear molds. Once the devices have fully cured, we pop the little pin tool out, making sure to score the edges so it doesn't tear any of the seal coat. We'll just clean up the bottom there, get rid of any little ridges left from that pin tool, making sure that everything's nice and smooth, and then we've got 2 ready to use instant ear molds. Alright, only one thing left to do. Make sure those are fit tightly and get a good seal. Someone's impressed. Alright, we'll go ahead and fit this right one in there as well, making sure to tuck that helix portion up into the ear. Looks like we got a happy customer. If you're interested in getting a set of Instamolds for you or a child, give us a call, 304-428-2403, or shoot us an email at info@hearwv.com.